And I hear this is the hottest song on the streets at the moment. Next year, Antimian winning viral song of the year with 3Music Awards. You better call a year demonstration.
Yeah, one by said, Yendu Hana and one night so.
Oh, I bet Nasso, and I can't say,
I bet Nasso. Say, and Nasso, the next song, a baby, me, I'm here.
Okay.
Because my preparation. Says, Obi, I'm hitting all over.
Almost behind TV.
Oh, I'm taking over. Newborn king. Go. I'm taking over. Because my pilot hitting
Okay.
Me relax crowd. Because we say game no Ubana say who hit one. Now who relax pe. Untumin babio. Untumin pejabio. And I miss when it comes to music writing, I mean lazy crowd.
Okay.
So we deliver pa.
All right. Now, you are lucky. We have the CEO of 3Music Awards here, Abdullah Sadiq Abu, here to tell us how this man can win in the next year award, especially after the virtual awards for 2020. Yesterday we needed him here, but he could not make it because of some one or two issues. But today he is right here to answer some questions that I know you have, and we also have as entertainment journalists. First is to congratulate him and his team for a good job done last Saturday at the Fantasy Dome. Sadiq, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Have you rested enough? Because I remember during last year's awards, you collapsed.
You can't rest enough in these days. I mean, there's initiatives almost every time that we have to work on, and so you just finish that with one, and then on to the next one, like that, So I think that's fair to say that we've had some good rest.
What was the difference in production during the virtual show compared to the last 2 years?
But I said, I mean, firstly, the fact that almost every year when you do production, you produce for a television audience as much as well as a live audience. One of the differences is that this time around, you're not producing for the live audience, you're producing for TV audiences. That's step one of it. And then obviously because of the whole virtual nature of it, the reliance on technology heavily, and so this time around we relied heavily. These things, I can't get used to this.
No, nobody can. Nobody can.
As much as I want to protect myself,
nobody can. You'll be fine.
And then of course,
And the Ghana India.
Also, obviously, the reliance on technology to be able to
share, subscribe,
semblance of the awards. The fact that you don't have the nominees in there, you don't have the award presenters in there. You needed to have relied on technology to at least have those elements within the main show. So this, I would say, really are the two things that, I mean, it's a bit more different form, and of course you don't have to spend as much as you would have spent on a bigger show, really. So those, I would say, are there's a few differences between the past years, and then the virtual one.
Now let's pick some one or two commentaries from some industry people, and the first one I'll pick will be from Nabil Alasan from Event Factory, who said that he thought the stage was too much of elegance than he was expecting. No, it is a virtual awards event, or it was a virtual event. Why that emphasis on elegance on the stage?
Well, I don't think there's any law or rule or principle that bars us from doing anything extra, really. I mean, I don't know what standard he was referring to. That's his standard, that's his view, but we hold a different opinion in the ways we want to execute, the show. And as much as we didn't break any rule, any principle, and was still enough to still attract people to watch it, why not? I mean, I think that the challenge here is that when people think of virtual shows, they think of it as coming from like a home or any environment whatsoever. I mean, we were caught in the middle, having to step down a bit from a main award show because we had great plans. We really wanted to go extra for this year, year 3, and so having to step it down, and also having to be able to meet expectation. You know, so this I would say is a bit of a step down from what we typically would have done for this year. This year would have been without aside the corona. If you look at the build up, you know, we really wanted to go extra, and that's why we did. She was supposed to do the Fun Festival coming out to. The Fun Festival it's a whole festival in its own. I mean, of course, in as far as awards here is concerned, that's going extra. And if going extra is good, so be it. Why not? I mean, it doesn't hurt anybody to go extra. That's it.
Are we likely to do the fun event still?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if Corona goes away eventually, and we can regroup, and we can actually come out, and there's a lift on the ban on mass assembly and mass gathering. I think that they would want to come in. We're expecting that. At that point, we will be able to pull off the Fun Festival, you know. But we're really looking forward to making sure the Fun Festival for this year comes on in the ways we want it.
What were going to be some of the issues if you guys had, say, stopped the event for this year, knowing all things are not normal? So many things are abnormal in these times.
Well, one of the things you need to understand about us is that we're driven by a certain sense of passion to reward the industry. I mean, one of it would have been that this year would have gone unrewarded. I mean, all the people that most likely worked harder and I mean got nominated in the process, you know, could have gotten could have gone. We could have gone a year without rewarding them. Then there's a legal element of it as well, where you invited the public to take part in the voting. The public had taken part in the voting with a certain expectation or in consideration of something. You needed to find a way. I get it that even lawyers would tell you that force majeure. You could have argued that, oh, I mean, circumstances beyond the control ensure that you couldn't do that. But we also thought about the brand. We thought about the fact that you still need to be able to nourish the brand regardless. You still need to be able to pursue that passion of rewarding industry. And once there was possible ways to do it, why not? Yeah.
Were your sponsors satisfied?
I don't know whether to say we had sponsors.
Oh, on the day we saw on the screen some sponsors. In fact, some people even complained that the commercials or the adverts. Oh, not the media partners alone, but
the supporters.
The supporters, yeah.
Oh,
were they satisfied?
Well, I would say that I would think that fairly or largely, almost every stakeholder was satisfied, from the internal stakeholders of the board, academy, coming down to the partners, to I mean, our donors, our sponsors, particularly NASCO. I think it's safe to say that they are satisfied. NASCO sponsored the next rated category. I mean, they heavily went in on that, you know. But overall, the brand itself, 3Music Awards this year didn't have like a major sponsor, also because owing to the whole corona, running into the whole event itself. I mean, we had a couple of sponsors, but it's understandable for that. Around this time, they would rather their foundation or CSR takes the lead in pushing their brands than pushing it from a purely marketing or commercial perspective, which is understandable. But we just felt that, I mean, as a resilient brand and as people that pride ourselves in being innovative, I mean, this is the time to show how we can work around our issues or think outside the box. And I mean, that's the result of that particular thinking and mindset.
All right, so we're still here with Abdullahi Abu Sadiq from 3Music Awards, and King Jerry is also here. King Jerry is going to win an award hands down for next year 3Music Awards. We'll make sure he wins. But we're not done with Sadiq yet. I know will also come in with some 1 or 2 questions. Now let's go on to the streets after doing some 1 or 2 industrial topics. Let's go on to the streets. Some people have this notion that because 3Music Awards was getting the Shatawale tag, this year you guys intentionally did some 1 or 2 Kululu to make sure another person also wins big. Therefore, Sarkodie winning about 5 awards and Shatawale won just 1 in the categories.
Awards. The thing about awards consistently coming to terms is that.
But first, would you admit that there was a certain tag that 3Music Awards was a Shatta Bias Awards? Would you admit to that? Did you hear that, first of all?
You hear a lot of things about awards. You would hear, I mean, so I have a friend, David Nikose. David Nikose was somewhere, and there was a conversation, and my name came up. And there was this guy that was speaking so confidently about me. And hey, that guy, this thing, he said a lot of negative things. And David Nikose just asked him a simple question: do do you know this guy? He says, who? This guy. Who doesn't know this guy? We know him, we know this guy. This is, says, wait, do you know this guy? He says, no. He says, do you know this guy? He says, look, I deal with this guy consistently. Everything you're talking about, I know him. It's totally different. But that's the thing about awards. And that's the thing about what fanaticism costs. You will realize, look, you will see how even if the other party goes to win even an international award, the other side could destroy and knock down that particular thing. It's usual for that to happen. We are not the first to go through that. VGMA had gone through it. Beyond VGMA, international awards have gone through it. And even the Grammys have gone through it. What did Kanye West say about Grammys? It's usual of awards. It's usual that when an enigmatic person wins an award, particularly somebody that attracts equal hate and equal love, right, on the street, you're going to have a certain chatter or a certain noise. You know, regardless, again, last year, Shatawale won, there was conversations and chatter. This year, Sarkodie won, the conversations and chatter is still going on. You know, we'll probably be tagged anyway. So people find any remote connection whatsoever to be able to, just to be able to push or then to make their narratives believable. They'll find any remote connection to do it. It's politics. I understand politics. I'm a very, very political person, you know.
Right.
So when I see and I understand the whole political culture, there's a bit of, when you look at fanaticism in the ways it's become today, there's a bit of a politics in this. They don't see it, we see it. I'm a student of public opinion and how to influence public opinion and all of that. So when I break it down into chambers, we see where there's a conscious attempt to create a certain picture to advance a certain narrative. You know, question is, I mean, should that derail you from doing what is right? Or should you be moved by that? As far as we do awards, narratives about us, about board members, about everybody will not end. Look, I had a talent manager or executive producer of an artist call me yesterday to rant and insult and threats and all of those things. It will not stop.
That his artist did not win an
Yes,
award.
it will not stop. So every year you will have something. Every year you will have something. You would have maybe a fanatic group really taking on somebody. Another year you would have a fanatic, and it's the same thing. I mean, obviously the unfortunate part of it is when the talents themselves get involved in some of it. But you would see it. You see people advance different narratives and stuff like that. But questions everybody needs to ask, and everything I've said is that awards are nothing without mechanics. Mechanics, systems that you put in, very, very logical systems that you've put in place to arrive at a winner. First question anybody needs to ask, are these systems of mechanics logical or reasonable enough? If it doesn't make sense from the beginning of the process, you expect that particular noise. Nobody says anything about it. Then that same system of mechanics will birth nominees. Nobody raises a finger. Well, maybe some people will raise some fingers here and there, but nobody says anything. Then the same system, which is purely communicated to people, is leveraged, and the same system birth a particular winner. Nobody says. But you see, and I keep saying that it's not about a sadiq. Like I said, people know. I know somebody where you know, say, Charlie, the thing you talk about, you know, it makes sense, but he's advancing an argument. It's like politics. Like I told you, it's like politics. You know the candidates that you know the thing you're talking about. That particular candidate is not true, but you need to push a certain narrative to become a deeply held perception as a way of leveraging it to gain a political advantage. It's the same thing in what fanaticism has become. So in your bid to really trash your opponent's work, you are looking for every remote conversation or argument or anything to hold on to create a deeply held perception to be able to create the effect that you want. It's usual with awards, particularly in the ways that we are coming with. But awards go beyond the team at 3Music.
Okay.
Everybody knows that, you know.
Let me put this one through, and I'll invite Arnold, and maybe if King Jerry also has any question, he can also ask. As the person leading the 3Music Awards, sometimes do you have fears in you when artists start going away from the awards? For instance, let's be honest that this year, for instance, some artists like Stoneboy, even Sarkodie, who won big on the night, they were not actively involved in the awards. I did not even see Stoneboy, for instance, posting a photo of any of his nominations for fans to vote for him. Do you sometimes get scared that should these artists go or shy away from the awards, it might affect the credibility of the scheme?
No, I mean, I've been around long enough to know and understand certain things. It's usual for big arts across the world to behave in a particular way towards awards. Did you see Jay-Z's commentary on the Grammys a day before the Grammys? It's usual, it's normal. People don't see it. But it's also because we are in a space where we don't change.
Can I argue that the Grammys and 3Music Awards, they might not have the same statistics?
No, obviously, but that's what I'm saying, that look at the Grammys. We are not having up to the point of the Grammys yet. I mean, we are just crawling. But I'm saying to you that even the Grammys, which is a reference point or the standard as far as music awards is, you see the reactions of the big arts towards the Grammys. It's the same thing. You see in Africa now, there's a whole call and noise about a certain album winning the Grammys. They are aspiring to it. It's an aspirational thing. So often awards, in the ways it works, always becomes that aspirational thing for a lot of younger artists. It helps to validate and give them a certain reputational value. Older artists, I mean, particularly when they begin to gain strength, begin to take a certain stance, and particularly when there are maybe personal issues here and there and everything, they'll take a stand. You know, but that is not to say, and I've always made the point that if you're not insightful enough, or you're not knowledgeable enough in how to reinvent and turn around things and build around things and to be able to build it, you'll be moved. I've been long enough. I mean, I've been in the industry from 2003. I've worked at the highest level. So when I sit back and a particular artist is behaving in a particular manner, I just look at it and smile, and I just tell the team that, look, let's move ahead, let's do A, B, C, D. You never can tell. 10 years down the line is very, very important. You will only stop when you want to, or you will only be stopped when you want to. I mean, if a big artist doesn't want it, a growing artist that aspires to it may want it, you know, and that may validate the person. You know, you don't look at it and say, this particular artist didn't post it, so we didn't do it. It's a different thing altogether. A person doesn't want to be. Look, industrial initiatives must and should stand the test of time. And I've always made the point, talent come and go. Industrial initiatives, industrial people often stand for a long time. There's a reason they do so. Things peak at different times. And so just sometimes I keep telling talents that it's in your interest as well to do all that what it takes to ensure. Don't use it as a silent protest to knock down industrial things. Then 5 years down the line, you begin to be more on the same things to say that, oh, there's this non-industrial initiatives, there are no these people and stuff like that. There should be a certain thing where you take a conscious effort to build industrial things because you know those things will be there to build you. If you build an award for 3Music, you not only build 3Music, you're building a whole ecosystem. There's a channel coming which is going into Africa. It's not about that. There's a me who is moving from, say, Boomplay to Music Time to Music Time to whatever. If I'm enabling you and you get to a particular point where you feel as a point of silent protest or because you have an issue or two, you take a particular stand. And then the next one, yesterday, the same thing. One artist, 10 years down the line, he's known as his management group, we've known us for like more than 10 years. He calls complaining about something that happened to Afro Nation. And I said, guy, you see the point you talk about? You're referring to a certain Nigerian artist. When you talk about that, go and speak about how these Nigerian artists also enable industry. You were sitting in the boardroom, you're setting a certain decision to be made for you in behalf of you, and you expected us to drive the decisions. For 10 years when we've enabled you, what did you do back to us? For 10 years. It's been the same thing. You blow up, you feel in a particular way, you take a stance, you sit back, we move on, we build it, and because now you're losing out and you're not more part of it, you begin to come back and throw tantrums to say, oh, I've known you for 10 years, you know this, when you sit down here and stuff like that. That is always, you know, there's apathy in the industry. Because you get to a particular point, you feel that, oh, it's a silent treatment, I've built a certain cloud, let me sit back and allow it to wither. All well and good. But mind you, some people will push through and they'll get to a certain point and continue to build and create opportunities for people. don't do that, and then down the line also have a certain expectation from the industry.
Okay, Arnold, I'm sure you can now come in. There is a question I'll be reading from here, but then Arnold, any question you also have for Sadiq?
The first one is you've done it first two times. This is the third one. Yeah. The first 2 times you had live audience, and obviously you made money from ticket sales for the first 2 times. Of course, whether profit or not, you sold tickets. This time round, there weren't tickets to be sold and all. Did it really push your purse?
Yeah, of course it would. The thing is, awards have always pushed our purse, and I think that I made a point that we've come to the realization that awards per se are not commercial products. So you've got to think about around it and build commercial things around it. But award ceremonies itself are not necessarily commercial products. It doesn't make money.
So you've never made money. You've never made profits from 3Music Awards.
Profits? Yeah. Not even revenue.
You talk about profits.
Wow, you've never even broken even.
Not even revenue, the guy.
Wow.
I'm not even revenue. But I mean, one of the things we also think about it is that obviously the things about award is that if you think about it purely from a commercial perspective, you lose a plot. You need to think about it from the reputational value element of it. Because then, fast forward, if you've done and you've been able to achieve a certain reputational value, it could open doors in the ways you want it. There's a lot of, obviously because I'm also in the ecosystem, it boosts the imagery of Nolly talent, it enhances the reputation of Nolly talents, but people that work in it. So as much as it's not a purely commercial vehicle, right, there's other benefits that could come out of it. So you could come in year on year in consideration of that particular benefit. There's a channel coming on 3Music. I mean, obviously when the 3Music channel flows, and when it comes in about 3 months, when it launches, say in a month's time, in about 3 months, it's also going to go on DSTV, becomes going to Africa. The awards and things are things that are set that particular influence and open such doors for us. So you think about it more in terms of that okay, well, you've come to the realization it's not a commercial product. Even if you get sponsors, you've got to put in every money into it. Already, even without sponsors, you're putting every penny into it anyway, as well as to keep it alive, but you build things in around it. So the Fan Festival could be one of your commercial wings. There are other things that could be the promotion. Even the SMS doesn't really give much. It's just the tool to just collate. I mean, public vote as much as possible.
Right.
So yeah.
Again, what went into the selection of Clemento Suarez and Obi Akonsa to support J. Foley and Nashoko?
What was the thinking last year? What a lot of people don't know is that last year when I passed out, the flavor room was part of last year. Obi Akonsa was backstage. But when I left out, and it settled the team, they wanted to be more functional than to continue to be creative. And so quickly, Eddie Johnson said he took a quick decision to say, look, cancel it off, let's all be functional, bring in the team here quickly on the spur of the moment, and then they moved on. So the flavor room had been part of that last year. This year wanted to repeat it. One of the things we wanted to do is, we've always had too many performances, too many artists on the performance. Awards are not necessarily awards. Yes, awards across the world is 4 hour, 5 hour, and everything. Sometimes you can have too many artists, but it could be in blocks. But we're realizing that here, you don't tell the artists. It's always difficult to tell them that, look, you're a Camido, come in, Jupiter, jump in here, do a mashup, a collaboration of the song, and then move on to the other song. It's usually very difficult. Because the typical Ghanaian artist is used to, I'm coming to do my set, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, whether it be awards, it be concerts, they don't get it. But across the world, you're producing it. You could just jump in. Burna Boy jump on the bridge to do what's the guy's song? He jumped in on a song they had. He did one of his songs. He go off. This guy continue.
But why is it difficult? Why is it difficult to get them to do that? I mean,
no,
even if they prove difficult to handle, since it's the standard practice, which is also going to help the awards run smoothly, isn't there a way to get them to do it?
Yeah, so we are. So like I said, it's also mindset. You need to shift mindset. You need to educate. You need to carry them along the dream. Some will buy into it, some wouldn't. Last year, some bought into it. It worked, and then it ushered in. The more this awards becomes influential, the more it stands, the more it becomes a very, very, very strong brand. the more you have a certain level of leverage and control. So you're getting there. And then also, we also, from the events perspective, awards perspective, we need to get off the whole idea of having to find every popular arts to put on and find people that give you a show experience. You know, Jupiter will give you a show, Camido will give you a show. You think creatively about it. You wanted a certain effect with Coke Smoke and Busum Pinion, and they did that. You go and carry Welters of Glory, she says, somewhere, and they did that. You need to be able to create more opportunities to grow and groom more new stars. Like I tell you, those that want it, give them the opportunities. Awards are also platforms to enable stars and enable industries. Use that as a platform to impact industry, particularly for those that want it.
So, final question.
Okay.
How many hours did the award last?
I'm sure we did about 3 to 4 hours. Yeah.
Without live audience, without the award presenters coming in and all. So if we had all these people present, it would have dragged more.
We still have done 4 hours.
You still would have done 4 hours.
Last year when we started, we started late, regardless, but we still did the 4 hours.
4 hours.
Because when it starts, you script and put it within a particular context. So regardless of when it starts, the question is when does it start? That's the whole idea.
Okay.
But regardless of when it starts, it
still
moves on like
on
that.
the same way.
Yeah.
So could it have been shorter? No, minus all these guys.
We need to come to terms with the fact that awards are not short. I've seen people make the commentary that keep it short and everything. Look, the BETC on TV has just been edited and packaged. It is not like that. Actually, fully. Ask those of us that have gone to the summits. When we did the work with MTV base within there, it is not 2 hours. Don't let anybody lie. You say some awards keep it 1 hour, 2 hours. Forget that. It's not like that. Awards are glamorous, elaborate ceremonies. It needs to be like that. People need to be able to sink it and accept it. Let not anybody begin to accept, it's 1 hour, it's 2 hours, and they've gone overboard. No. Awards are like that. It's sinking. But regardless, there are different awards anyway. There are awards that are not really music inclined. You could move within a certain pattern. I've seen the AMVCAs and others, for instance, that go in. It's like bam, 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 like that. When we did the women's branch and the honors, the whole awards part of it didn't last 40 minutes. It was like that, bam, bam, including the videos and everything that we played. Because there was no performances, there was no elaborate speeches and everything. It was like flat. It was planned like that. The music awards, that's what gives it the buzz. That's what gives it the excitement. That's what gives it the whole whatever. And we found out, unknown to everybody, makes it seem like we can't sit for 2 hours or 4 hours to watch whatever. The data from the background shows people could sit for 4 hours to watch. We got 11 million impressions. You know, you got 11 million impressions, over 4 million reach, plus 4 million plus reach digitally alone.
Yeah.
You know, and people
we got a statistics here.
Yeah, and it was not only for just say the first 2 or 30 minutes or anything. It was throughout. The average time spent watching it, was close to about 40 minutes.
Right.
You know?
So I want to touch a bit on data. Some rather unfortunate questions. Data. Do you think that should we have a cheaper, acquisition to data? It would be obviously positive on it, but how do we get to the point where data becomes so cheap? Because I know moving forward beyond coronavirus, there will still be some events that would like to go virtual with it. So how do we get a lot of people to buy into it, a lot of people to participate and not do so gnashing their teeth? How do we push for data to be reduced? Any ideas?
We can't. We don't control. There are certain things you don't control.
Right.
There are different layers and different levels of society. There's a telcos. When you take the average cost of a particular bundle or anything from the telcos, split it apart, go back and break it down, you realize that it is not just cost where they knock them ahead inside where they throw them at you. There are different taxes that you're paying when you buy a particular SIM card. You're paying CXT 9%. You're paying, there's a corporate tax element of it. There's this particular tax. There's NHIL. There's whatever. All those things adds up and builds up the cost that they pass on to you. So until the states can make it, that's why I've seen other politicians make the argument that for data to be cheap, maybe the state needs to take a lead by reducing or abolishing the CST, the communication service tax, or what it's called, to abolish it, so that when the states take that part of the cost build up, it still it would encourage them to actually bring it down, and it will take something out of it for people to be able to do that. But the question you need to ask is, will the state be able to do that? You are demanding a lot of things from the state. You need a lot of things. The state is giving you free water, free electricity at a certain point in time.
None of it is free. 50%.
No, even for just 3 months.
Yes, but that intervention is still borne by the state. Ask yourself, why are they going to get the funds if it's not? So there's a chicken and an egg situation. It's either the state takes the lead and decides that we're abolishing certain taxes to make it to free, give the telcos the freedom to be able to reduce prices and allow people to be able to do certain things or not. But around the world, data in the ways you want it will still be expensive. You know, unless we get to a particular point where the telcos begin to see it more as a marketing opportunity to say, okay, rather than give you the actual funds to go and do it, we're going to give the audience a certain incentive, and then you can use the base that you've built to accumulate other to monetize or commercialize in a certain way. There's always a way around it.
I said that a guy wanted me to ask a question, so I don't know if Sadiq is ready to answer that. He says, Mr. Sammy, please ask the 3Music Award CEO, can he be bold to tell us or the cherished viewers which political party he belongs to? We are ready to support him come on power or come into power.
I don't think it's a secret that I belong to the NDC.
It's
not.
But he doesn't know. Maybe I'm sure he's loving the fact that the man is very eloquent, talking about this and that, and he wants to support him to win a political power. NDC. Okay. After you're cooking, Jerry. Okay. After you drew her. Oh, person should be a question. 3Music Awards boss.
Don't say like now. Person say like. When it comes to the coastal areas, we the Gadangwe artists, I don't know why we are not nominated when it comes to we at the coastal areas. I don't know why. So I just want to ask.
This should have been the question for the board.
Kim is asking you.
Yeah, but let me attempt to.
Okay, wait. How many of you guys are there? Can we get some names?
Luther is there. Nifani is there.
Yeah, I mean we know.
I myself, Kinjari, the newborn king, I'm there. Gasmila is there, Waisa, Apache, Teshi Boy, you know, we are all there. But none of we have been nominated.
Let me attempt to answer.
Why are you not nominating them?
Well, not me, the board, but let me attempt to answer it on behalf of the board. So, I was also about impacts and having a certain dominant effect nationwide. There's always a standard to look to. You either have to aspire to it or you lose out on it. That is why people work hard to be able to attain awards. If you're going to make awards about the certain region or coastal place here, how about the people in Cape Coast? How about the Takoradi people? How about everybody else? You know, that's why we created the next rated category to be able to give opportunities to all those people that are limited by certain situations to not be able to hit that kind of outstanding, have that outstanding effects, right? The opportunity to be able to get attention, but still there's also a standard there. If you don't match up to it, unfortunately you can't get in. It's not about coming down to you in the coastal place, it's about you climbing up and getting that national attention as much as possible. Fancy Garden came from Tamale to be able to get that kind of effect. What is stopping for you from being there to be able to get that effect? You're popular there, you're sticking down there, you're comfortable there, you've got an audience there. You don't feel like ensuring that your song reach out to Tamale, right? But you still feel that you have to be entitled to that award. No, we're measuring that particular standard. I'm sure there are other awards that can focus on that regional base, that community base and all of that. But we have a more national field and offer, measure a more national impact as much as possible. So it's two things. Either you work hard to that or you work hard towards the next rated category.
All right, King said.
And also, say like, Adani best Suni allocated to when it comes to Gadangbe highlight music. Also, someone called when but still no nomination.
It's not a matter of work with you. Every year, I mean, there are a lot of artists that are more common, but you're measuring a particular year. Within that particular year, a particular nominations is limited by a certain number. Like I said, there's a mechanics. There's a category definition that defines and says that you're looking for the most outstanding and dominant within a particular period. Have you been dominant within a particular year? enough to be part of the 7 or 8 that get nominated? Have you been outstanding within that particular year enough to be nominated in the 7 or 8? That's the whole idea.
Okay. Director, give us the new song Sankofa, and this time around King Jerry is going to give us a live performance in the studio for Sadiq to know that this guy is dominating.
The next rated artist.
You are the next rated artist for next year.
For next year.
Yeah, but he's serious, so Sadiq is serious about this, and we make sure.
Like if I win, sir.
Oh,
he did not get nomination.
Next year,
okay, King, show Sadiq something. Next year, you're even performing on that stage. Let's go for it. And this is the latest banger on the streets. No two ways about that.
Worldwide.
Worldwide. Let's get it now. And King is giving us a live performance.
Uni obabi wo hono na like bibia ekoso fine bibia misunderstand kakra ba he waja no uko for bafro and like afide nyama nko yie oye o basa bia onake ni bi na fio ya mi abu obesani odwengeni lai momo e sankofa anu awole ko ni is simple onish.
I know it's not simple to us.
It's a Thames keke and nothing else. Ona buy. She said, "Send me get on so me ha. That's so me. Ona buy ke. And baby, a son be called Biano. Buy simple. Okay. Keklen the normal Thames. So
King Jerry, your friend said, "Munyum na ya mobo momo side no." Tina yeti asienti na fans obi ti say Sadiq or say obi san na movie dia was not say impact no. A bit be say e bi monti asienti na because as much as I know, this song I hear is doing wonders.
Yeah. Even in this pandemic era,
for a song to hit, I understand.
Yes, and I hear this or even the dance. Somebody never dance. Every the kekle dance.
The one I know that went viral is the one that was popularized by Bukoma.
The dance was then?
No, the other was song.
The other song. Obagoshi. Yeah.
And
that's another one.
The Obagoshi
is my song.
Yeah, the Obagoshi one.
Yeah. So why didn't you nominate if you saw it?
No, yeah, just last
recent one.
Play it, let me do it.
Okay, King Jerry wants to do Obagoshi live here in the studio.
Sensible song. This is an award-winning song.
Rhythm style.
That next year, 3Music Award. If you nominate me, I will take the award. Oh, me, I stand for Gadangbe music. So if you nominate me,
and take it.
I will take it. Me, I be bigger than Onsango. I be bigger.
So you are.
But you know, say, I not reach the A list. Where I not be underground too.
Yeah.
You understand? Yeah, I did the middle. Yeah, Onishi. So me, I be big.
Bigality.
Alright, let's drop this one. Let me ask this question, and I believe those who are also watching us can call in at this stage if you want to call to ask any question, whether on 3Music Awards or maybe to our man here, King Jerry. It is allowed. 024-351-4732. 024-351-4732. You can also call in. But Sadiq, let's do this in three if you can. Adena omonyom no eyede. Nas de bi eka. Any problem. Eka eponano adentia. Because then you will say it.
And I was talking on Hits FM and I spoke about actively taking steps to activate the music and keeping it out there. I have an artist manager that calls me and says, my artist did A, B, C, D and blah, 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 blah. So I feel that I said, well, it's fine, it's your opinion. Or I feel that I don't get what I deserve. It's different things doing something. And it's another thing ensuring that that thing gains the buzz. Whatever you're doing, somebody's also doing something. You know, so you need to consciously take actions and decisions to gain a certain type of mind or visibility. There are different bottled waters in the country, but you go to the shelf and you want to buy a Vortic or Belacqua because they gain the top of mind. But it's water, it's packaged water. There are thousands of them. but you want a certain specific one because they sold the brands to you and they have the top of mind, and you're not the only person. It's like that nationwide. So you need to actively take conscious steps and activate the music in the ways, the places
and
that
you think
to.
They are not doing that, huh?
They are not, also because just sometimes you can't blame them. Their understanding of or their worldview regarding how to really take the music on the road is a bit limited, and most of them do not really have the kind of. Come on, some of your big talents even cannot really afford people to really guide them with the insights to give them. I see people drop albums and say, "Hey, this one we're going to Grammys." You think the Grammys, if you just walk in the park, it is actual actions. You don't just drop the album and say, "Because I featured ABC, I'm going to the Grammys." No, you take conscious decisions. If you don't do that, you're not seeing the Grammys.
I see. I know the same question. Practically, I don't know when you. In fact, then you need top-notch songs. Maybe I'm a bit more for Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, big man. What's the name? Where are you calling us from?
My name is I'm calling from. I'm just allowing you to say big up to King Jerry, and then I wish him the biggest of luck and good luck to him. And also, I'm really watching the live, and I really love to read a few body talk and then explain the condition and the technical aspect of the issues of the music award.
Okay.
Third guy really support me, and then I asked a question about the heroes, but I didn't know the one full support for him, so thank you so much for me. All right.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you for your call.
Thank you.
I don't
I think a few of them, or a few of them, because the number of people who have songs that haven't been nationwide hits are more. Das Miller had a nationwide hit. Telemon. Funny had a nationwide hit. Weiser, I think also had a nationwide hit. Luther,
Apache at a point had a big song too.
They've all tasted that level before, but the question is, have they been able to sustain it? Where is Nifani? Where is Luther? Where is Weiser? Where is Apache?
Excuse me, let me pick this one as well. Hello, good evening.
Yes, good evening. This my name is Asina Blessing, aka DJ No Shaking, United States.
And DJ No Shaking, where are you calling us from?
I'm calling from United States.
Alright, which states to be specific?
Yeah, I'm calling from United States. My boy King Jerry is doing good, and I know that he's talking good there, but one thing, we need to push King Jerry to go forward and to do what he's supposed to do. But everything's going on there is very good. And I like how you guys support him, and I appreciate everything. And King Jerry, take up to your song. Your song is very wicked, and
thank you.
Try to push it, okay?
All right.
All right. King Jerry,
yes. So what they have to do is to make a conscious effort, like Sadiq said, to keep themselves afloat. I think when the hit comes, and they get carried away by the hits, they enjoy the love that they get, the fame they get from their people, and sometimes they get stuck. But if they have it in mind, look at Adani Best. I mean, he's not a gun, but he's usually linked to the guns. Look at how he sustained his brand. Maybe they should go back to study how he did it then. I'm sure we are in different times. They were more analog, we're digital now, but there will be certain things that he did consciously to ensure that he stays in the business for a very long time. What did Tiny do to stay in the business for that long? There are things they did that I think these guys would have to look at and maintain. For me, I think their problem is they become too comfortable with the love that the people show them down there, because they show them real love. And if you are not careful, you might think that's what because what else do I need? These people you go to Bukom and Bukom
Mampo's. Sorry about that. Hello, good evening. Your name and where are you calling us from?
I'm Frank.
Okasa from Cape Coast. Okay, Frank, yeah, Kasai.
But I'm watching 3Music award in a way. We are not canal water. And secondly, I need to know. I use your channel. He said, I could be wanted to be more than Tata. Oh, yeah, then I can hire and you know all 20 years. But customer is doing dancing. If you come on, why I don't know. I don't know, they don't know. But if so, your phone will be a can of the or the I can't be the second video we are.
Okay, Frankie, I think, Mammy for last call and point time I saw you. Oh, hello, good evening. Sorry about that. Okay, I'll wrap you up now.
Yes, I think they should make a conscious effort to stay in the business and do what they have to do. You know, it shouldn't be just about the coastal belt. It shouldn't be just about Accra. You know, they should activate their songs from all angles. From all angles. I don't know if they are taking digital sales serious and getting their songs out there. You know, now guys are thinking even more international than national. You know, so what are they also doing? King Jerry, has he made any major move to keep his song out of Accra? Sometimes the song gets out of Accra by chance and not something they consciously decided to do. They should make conscious efforts. Okay. You know, that's the only way magic can happen for them.
All right, King, Kasache fans, I'm sure another day you come and do their performances and we introduce you to the industry. What be meeting big man, Kasa?
Oh yeah. I'm share big man. They must say BBA be so any. Because we say Zelofumba on can't say Mamba one with the chain a breaky. And then I say we show me how to say BBA come. Yeah. And then some share big boss who are not just say I want the best circle. So, Mrs. Amen. Amen. Now say one thing it is and say baby we were actually what galamon wala is an only one galamon we jake bomb to it gasmila fe telemo phone ake a hit ticketation she a hall award a harmony mo chale remix ye or chrome award onish one no me wake ona let's try Gamier. She money mo get fair or chrome. I had a more award. Now money mo tell mo money attention le mo award. Ona wo no wana gashi a Jamie ami akegule wo gadangwe wo laga. Ona me shouldn't be like that. One wola mo no na ke I quite remember je ku form fe no ku to my health work. Ke o di me fe ba je me kenibi. I feel like exercise negative. Chila jina atwa kwa miji mekanibi a door we can again train here. In Dumoshimi kwa you don't have King Jerry song and Gasmila and those and coastal song nage here, so they know. Onishi, our men don't know feel. Onishi, when it comes to Egla Jonami Namish, Onaga Amikaya Olala, she gets an award there. I get away, I may like coastal forward. Onishi. Onu pere mi ton makpo nu ba e fa yakeshi won wo me nu la gadangbe song ke fi akai wo fi o bo ke je award people about wo I recognize wo fi o ko pa ke show won wo e je me onu
hello you are here, talk to us. What's your name, where you got the last show?
Good evening, Sam.
Good evening.
My name is Anakin. I'm calling from Bawi.
Alright, talk to us, Nana.
Please, King Jerry is one of a hero. You can't beat him. Jerry, please, I'm speaking from the first. They have tried, but sir, King Jerry is King Jerry. He's a newborn king. He's a newborn king. Before somebody will open his mouth to say something, there is no what is in him. Because in one of his videos, he said, Azonto cannot come back. If Azonto can come back, then Shuperi should come back. Boy should come back. All these things should come back. Yeah. So you know what he's talking about. It's body beating.
Body beating.
New thing, new one. So nobody can be left with the man. He has done it. And he will do it again. King Jerry, bravo.
King, who supporting bring back Azonto?
Oh, Davi, we say this a big platform. Let me use catch Sarkodie say Azonto can never come back, so we should stop wasting the time. Onishi, be one promote body beating dance. Eba bona many enu kick me ne twawaisa me na kan no boy enu sankofa ke body beat eba. You should call me to support the new agenda body beating, but I shouldn't say Azonto is coming back. Azonto can never come back. No kone saneleji. Azonto is not music, it's a dancing. Ni Joe ga poster area say Onish gama mi ake Joeje no na Joe fe Joe ne bajele mi fe ga ko gon super uncle machine boy can be fe gama mi ona she to me onugba yo brand ko le fine wo ka ma me fe lala no ma me ko ona no na big artist can be fe ame bag na ma feel yo ni bi ni a ona keke ake na mo me ye brand ke package can be wo ka ma sale fio ke ameka ke show amame no dabi Azonto eje tema onishi Azonto eje gamami ona created by the dancers ona one ke sankofa le oni fie dancers say no oni create body beat here onishi yeah Azonto can never come back. Sarkodie, I beg you come and support for my own body beating dance to the world.
I see. King, what's your number? The fans who would want to call you after the show, what's your number?
0273 288 939.
Take your time, take your time.
0273 288 939. 0273 288 939.
Okay.
So, why not tracking Jerry?
Yes, Sadiq, your final words to your board members and followers of 3Music Awards. So we close. We've done about 15 minutes more and we are closing. Yeah.
I think, to the board members, it's gratitude for having guided us and directed us effectively and consistently. The work they do for us actually overwhelms us. You know how intense it is, and everybody's passionate and committed to the cause. So we cannot thank them enough. We will continue to show them a lot of gratitude, and even to academy members from the various regions. To have agreed to avail themselves to the process. We have to show them a lot of gratitude as well. They've really done well, from Cape Coast to the Volta region, come to the Ashanti region, to the representatives from the BA, Power Spots, the northern side, coming down to Accra. All of them have really done so well, and obviously to the people that voted for their favorite acts to win awards as well. We keep supporting the brand. We're here to do a lot of good stuff. We really here to do a lot of stuff. We'll not be discouraged by some of the distractions and everything. We'll continue to dig deeper. They will come dig deeper. We overcome them. And pursue bigger stuff. One
Frank from Cape Coast asked a question that when are the award winners receiving their trophies or plaques?
Well, they'll probably receive it in a month. We are in the process of having it etched from the award suppliers, from the people that manufacture it. So they have.
Did you do that last year?
Last year we did it. We are starting that this year. So we've got the plaques in, but it has to be engraved, and then we can spend time giving it to everybody.
Alright, thank you so much, Arnold Mesa Levanyo from Vibes in 5 Multimedia for visiting us today. And to King Jerry, King Besan Bahabim. And then you've been introduced to King in my industry. The next time you come, you look for one Friday and it will be full of musical performances from all the songs that you enjoy, because I know most of the fans were waiting for King to give us some hot performances, and trust me, it will happen, so wait for it. And again, let me say thanks to Abdullah Sadiq for coming on the show and to support this particular project. I'm sure from time to time you'll be coming for us to discuss our business here on Sammy Flex TV, Showbiz Daily. Thanks to Digital Rasta Currency, Richie Flex, and also to man like Yao Lapiji, and to Berima as well as Tilly Akuyeni. They are all at the other side supporting this agenda. My name is Sammy Flex. If you want to watch it again, you can watch that on our YouTube channel, that is Sammy Flex TV. So subscribe and get all the latest updates. We out of here. Thank you for keeping up time with us here on Sammy Flex TV. We out.